Most cats don't do this to other cats. Imagine for a second that you are looking at a perfect killing machine, an evolutionary masterpiece of speed and silence. Every muscle in a feline body is designed for a single, solitary purpose: high-stakes survival. They are independent hunters, animals that, by their very DNA, do not need anyone else to thrive. But then, something impossible happens in the quiet of your home. You are sitting on your sofa, perhaps lost in your thoughts or scrolling through your phone, and you feel it. A soft, deliberate weight. A single paw, resting silently against your skin. In the world of biology, this is a glitch. Adult cats in the wild simply do not do this. They don't rest their limbs on each other for fun or casual comfort. They might groom for hygiene or headbutt to mark territory with scent, but this specific, sustained, and quiet placement of a paw? This is a human-only invention. It is a bridge between two species that should never have shared a language. Today, we are going to deconstruct the secret science of the cat paw, and I promise you, once we dive into the neurological triggers and the hidden hand preference of your pet, the way you look at your cat will change forever. This isn't just affection, it's a sophisticated biological signal that you have been invited into a circle of trust that most humans will never truly understand. The first thing you need to realize is that your cat is a master of what researchers call social referencing. While much of the world thinks cats are aloof or indifferent, the reality is that they are observing you with the clinical intensity of a scientist. They aren't just watching what you do, they are monitoring your autonomic nervous system in real time. Before that paw even makes contact with your arm, your cat has already performed a full diagnostic scan of your emotional state. They've noticed the microdilation of your pupils. They've heard the subtle shift in your breathing pattern. They know when you are anxious, even before you've realized it yourself. This is where the secret language of the paw begins. Most people think the cat wants something. Food. Attention. A door opened. But that's a fundamental misconception. If they wanted food, they would meow, a vocalization they developed specifically to mimic the frequency of a human infant's cry. If they wanted to play, they would exhibit high-energy body language. But the resting paw is different. It is a low-energy, high-intentionally signal. It is an attunement gesture. Your cat has spent thousands of hours studying the human animal they live with, and they've realized that we respond to tactile contact. They have literally hacked our social evolution to create a way to say, "I am monitoring your state, and I am choosing to ground you." But there is a detail that 99% of cat owners completely ignore, and it tells you everything about how much they trust you. It's about the lateralization of the feline brain. Did you know that your cat has a dominant hand? Just like you are likely right-handed. Your cat has a preferred limb for tasks that require high focus or emotional depth. Extensive studies from researchers like Dr. Deborah Wells have shown that this isn't random. There is a deep, intrinsic connection between which paw a cat uses and their underlying personality and emotional stability. Generally, right-pawed cats, which are often females, tend to be more confident, adventurous, and playful. On the other hand, left-pawed cats, frequently males, can be more reactive, cautious, or even prone to stress. When your cat reaches out to touch you, you must pay very close attention. Are they using their dominant paw? This is their working hand. It's the limb they use when they are hunting, solving a complex puzzle, or protecting themselves. When they place that specific paw on you, they aren't just leaning. They are engaging their most focused neurological pathways to connect with you. It is an act of extreme intentionally. You can actually test this at home. Tomorrow, place a toy or a treat inside a narrow glass where they have to reach for it. Note which paw they use first. That is their primary connection tool. If that is the same paw they rest on your leg while you're stressed, they are giving you their absolute best. They are bringing their full cognitive presence to the moment, using their most trusted limb to bridge the gap between your two worlds. To truly understand why this touch feels so grounding for both of you, we have to look deep into the architecture of the kitten brain. We all know about kneading, or what many of us affectionately call making biscuits. It's a rhythmic motion kittens use to stimulate milk flow from their mother. But it's not just a mechanical action. This motion is hardwired to the release of oxytocin, the chemical of belonging and love. When a kitten presses its paws, its brain is flooded with a sense of absolute safety. It is the first lesson they ever learn: touch equals survival, and touch equals peace. As they grow into large, capable adults, this paw press remains their most powerful self-regulation tool. When they rest their paw on you, they aren't just trying to comfort you, they are using you as their safe base. They are tapping into that ancient, kittenhood memory of total security. By touching you, they are telling their own nervous system that this human is my sanctuary. I can lower my guard. You have become the biological equivalent of a safe harbor. You aren't just their owner, you are the physical space where they are allowed to stop being a predator and start being a vulnerable living being. And speaking of vulnerability, let's talk about the physics of the feline. A cat is an animal built for the launch. Their entire skeletal structure, from the specialized collarbone to the powerful tendons in their hind legs, is designed to be ready to spring at a millisecond's notice. For a cat, standing on 3 legs instead of 4 is a massive tactical disadvantage. By lifting that paw and resting it on you, they are voluntarily giving up 25% of their escape capability. In the wild, an animal that does this is an animal that is essentially saying, "I trust you with my life." This is what researchers call mutual vulnerability signaling. It's a concept that exists in only a few places in nature. It's a silent pact. Your cat is betting their survival on the fact that you will not harm them while they are off balance. If you've ever had a cat do this while they are starting to doze off, you have reached the absolute pinnacle of interspecies bonding. They are falling asleep in a state of self-imposed handicap, purely because your presence acts as a psychological and physical shield. They are no longer scanning the room for threats, they have delegated that task to you. But let's go deeper into the neurochemistry. When a cat touches you, something happens in both of your brains. Science has shown that the simple act of petting a cat can lower human blood pressure and reduce the risk of stroke by over 30%. But what is happening inside the cat? When they initiate the touch, they are engaging in a form of tactile communication that mirrors our own need for social grooming. However, unlike grooming, which is about hygiene and social hierarchy, the resting paw is about synchrony. They are trying to sync their heart rate with yours. We often take this for granted because we see them every day. We hear them purr, and we think it's just what cats do. But we must remember that there is no evolutionary requirement for a cat to love a human. They weren't bred to serve us like dogs were. Dogs were selected over tens of thousands of years for their ability to read our commands and perform tasks. They were bred to be dependent. Cats, however, essentially domesticated themselves. They moved into our grain stores to hunt rodents, and they decided to stay because the environment was stable. For thousands of years, it was a business transaction. They handled the pests, and we gave them a warm place to sleep. But over the centuries, something changed. They decided to rewrite the terms of the deal. They decided to invent a language of affection that transcends their wild instincts. They didn't have to develop the meow for us, but they did. They didn't have to develop the resting paw for us, but they did. Every time that paw lands on you, you are witnessing the result of 10,000 years of selective emotional evolution. It's a gesture that says I have chosen you in a species that doesn't have to choose anyone. Consider the silence of the gesture. In a world that is constantly loud, where we are bombarded by notifications, voices, and noise, the cat communicates through stillness. The resting paw is the ultimate form of digital detox. Some cats express their trust through the slow blink, which is the feline equivalent of a kiss. Others express it through the tail wrap, where they curve their tail around your leg as they walk by. But the resting paw is the most human-like gesture they possess. It is the closest they can get to holding our hand. It is a sign of a highly agreeable and secure cat. If your cat hasn't reached this stage yet, it is simply an invitation to keep building that safety. It's an invitation to spend more time in silence with them, to prove that you are a predictable and calm presence in their world. Think about the sheer intentionality of the paw. Unlike a dog who might paw at you aggressively to get your attention,